let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FusionLore, the podcast where we dive deep into the lore of Fusion Fall, exploring every mission 30 minutes at a time to piece together the story and uncover what's truly going on. I'm Oris, also known as Matt, and as always, I'm joined by the magical dealer. Say hello, Mr. Dealer.
Hello, potential customers.
Before we begin, this episode is sponsored by the Doom Plum Inc. Is your bathroom a battlefield? Is the toilet taunting you, laughing as it fills with monstrous muck? Well, fear no more, because Doom Plum Inc. brings you the one tool that will destroy your bathroom enemies, the Plunger of Doom, priced at $99.99.
I know. You're probably thinking, but magic, that's an unbelievable price. And you're right. But remember, you're not just buying a plunger. You're buying a ticket to the greatest bathroom battle of your life. It's a price worth dooming for.
Worth dooming for.
Worth dooming for. Do you get it? Worth dooming for?
I get it. I get it, man. Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to FusionLore. Oh, folks. That's another couple of weird missions, let me tell you. Another couple of weird missions. We're covering
orientated.
Yes, we're covering the level 13 missions, which we're dubbing the blue levels because majority of these missions either are from blue or involve blue. And that's just the way they want. Welcome to the blue missions, everybody.
I think this is the only mission line where you're primarily interacting with the person who you're getting the nano for first, right as you level up. So that's fascinating to me.
Right.
I think this is the most interaction we've had with the core character of the nano we got. But
number two.
I mean, for the entirety of a mission line.
Number two.
I don't know, man.
Number two, Blossom, Double D.
But like it's so
number
it
5.
feels so much more frequent. And the fact that it's so short too, you know?
Magus. Matt, I just think you're wrong on this one. The more I think about it, I think almost every nano mission we interact with the main person the nano came from. I can't think of one where we don't interact with that person.
No, I mean like concurrently more and more missions just involving him right after you get him as a nano.
This is the only nano mission where we only deal with that person, I think. No, it's still number 2. I think you only talk to number 2 because it's so simple. It's just like, now go to the K&D training area.
I guess so, but it just feels, I guess because this mission, this level at least, is so short as well, it makes it feel so much more saturated, especially this late in the game. We've had so many saturated mission lines for each level, and some of them were complete nonsense, and most of the time we did a mission line just for the nano. We either interacted with the core player or the core character, or we moved on and did fuck all, just random bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless,
there wasn't much going on with this nano mission either.
No, it really wasn't.
Literally, we show up. Blue's like, dog, they took my juice box. And we have to pretend to care that they took his juice box, first of all. Why we're looking for it? Well, no, actually, I will say, since we know now fusions are created with personal item, I guess we would be worried that anything was taken from anybody. And we'll talk about it later on in this episode about how annoying Blue is to deal with. So I guess a fusion of him would be even more annoying to deal with. So we were like, dog, we gotta get that juice box back immediately.
I don't know. And not to mention Blue is playing Sumo Slammers online just to keep up on the leaderboards. I'm surprised that is still online. A fuse is quite literally in our atmosphere. I wonder how many satellites is taken down.
You think actually
Yeah, right?
At first, I was gonna be like, "Who cares?" Literally everything in this world is still functioning. Like, Blue is still going to the amusement park, even though it's an infected zone. The Blue is in the camp of like radio wave people, where it's just like, work-life balance, man. But is Blue doing any work? He's probably spending all his time at the infected zone amusement park.
You're referencing the episode we just recorded. So that's so funny. Radio Wave, we love you.
Blue and Radio Wave.
We gotta have that work-life balance.
Work-life balance.
You gotta have that work-life balance.
I feel like if Fuse was so smart, his first instinct would be like, let me get rid of all of these satellites. Unless
absolutely.
We have to remember this is like a technologically advanced world where like Dexter is pioneering almost all technological advances. So it could be a thing where we don't even need satellites anymore. And Dexter has figured out how to have an internet or a communication system that's on the planet itself.
I can get behind that, but at the same time, Dexter, like let's be real here. The most technologically advanced areas we've seen is let's see, Sector V, Floating Treehouse. We got Genius Grove, and we got Tech Square so far.
Which we haven't been to yet.
Not Tech Square.
We went there in the future. We went to Tech Square in the future.
Yes, but we didn't know how technologically advanced it was. It looked like
cars
garbage.
are flying, Matt. The cars don't.
The cars are flying. The cars are flying. Yeah.
You seen the bus? Have you seen the bus?
I have seen the bus, and
it's very technologically advanced, I would say.
Yeah, totally. A bus that still runs on a railway, but it's floating.
It's got to have a track.
So advanced.
It's got to have a track.
I would assume if it can float, it just follows a GPS, you know?
How are people going to get off the bus if there's no rails? What if someone falls off the back? They need something to fall on, Matt. You want them to just fall out of the sky?
Listen, that's not the worst thing that's ever happened to a character in this game. Okay, I'm just saying. We got to put it in perspective here. Like falling 100 stories, easy. I fall off the treehouse every time I climb up there.
We're built different. We're fighting fusions.
Nah, I'm fine. They'll be fine. They are heroes, right?
No, we're talking about civilians.
Oh, I mean, still, you know, like, listen, if the average Joe, like, if we're talking Eddie can survive randomly, right? Let's say if he jumped off and he surved. I'm pretty sure.
We have not seen Eddie leave the cul-de-sac. What are you talking about?
Regardless. I'm just saying, like, hey, look. We got to take into account this is the Cartoon Network universe. Maybe the average citizen is pretty freaking durable.
You're thinking there's some type of Toon Force going on.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, hey, canonically, we do have some tomb physics, so you know, maybe that mechanic is that mechanic's built into the game, but like, hey, it was intentional.
Okay, all right, we're getting off topic. We're
way off topic. Wait, okay, so we go through the mission line, we get back Blue's stupid juice box from Fusion Blue, and we get we get Blue's Nano, and then we go further down and we realize, okay, wait, we're in the wilds now. And we notice some things. What do we notice here? We notice some very similarly shaped and named enemies, you know?
I pointed out that being in the wilds, these are the first enemies that we are encountering that don't inherently seem to be fusion-like. Like, they're not oozing green goo. They're not like debris found around. These are animals. At least some of them you can stretch a little bit, like the cogfish. You can stretch a bunch of cogs meant to resemble a fish. But what the hell is a tiger wolf? That is a tarantulas body with a wolf's head on it. What is that?
Was it the tiger wolf? Well, I forgot what the actual
timber wolf
name. No, you're mixing up the timber tree. I know what you mean. I can't remember the name right now. Is it arachno wolf?
I think it is arachno wolf. Regardless, people know what we're talking about. Pachyarachnids. That's what it is.
There we go. All right. But yes, regardless, we're talking about basically, essentially, if you look at most fusions, they follow, you know, a standard guideline. It's typically inanimate objects melded together to form a new fusion living kind of sentience, you know, a creature of sorts. But most of the time it is made with inanimate and or dead objects. So we go into the wilds and we take a look at these Pachyarachnids and we see the living trees and we see the crazy metal boy scouts, and we're mind boggled by how exactly this happened, because would that imply that they are either using the living creatures and corrupting them into fusions, or are they using the dead bodies from the creatures as like a host of sorts to create something new? Because I will say the Pachyarachnids, their textures resemble wood, their face resembles a wolf, and their body resembles a giant freaking spider.
Well, okay.
So
I feel like this goes into, because we also did in this level what makes a monster, all 3 parts, right, where we learn that fusions are creating objects for other fusions to become fusions. I know it's a lot to say, a lot to understand. So there is a fusion called the Street Strider. He's breaking up the asphalt in the city to create the fusion, the Asphalt Thief? Asphalt something?
Yeah, we're defeating Asphalt Thieves because the what was it, the street grinders are breaking into the ground to grab material to form the Asphalt Thieves.
So, and
they're much they're like, it's like a smarter build because they're showing intelligence to create something else. Another version of themselves.
So what if, like, it's not necessarily they're taking the dead body of animals? What if they're like, okay, let me grab some tree bark, let me grab this leg of a spider and the hair of a wolf, and I'll combine all that into my body, and then boom, Pachyarachnid exists.
You know, I can get behind that. Honestly, it makes sense because we can, like, realistically speaking, at this point in the game, most of the time when we see a personal item used for any nano creation process, we'll get into that a little further. But anytime we see an item like that, we always question how exactly this item has any significance as a personal item to the character in question. But it always has the same trend. So in that same token, I can see how some fur and either a spider leg or in another instance some spider silk or webs or whatever the case might be, could be used as a proto personal item in creating these fusion monsters, which I am again, I want to get into, fascinated by, but also makes me wonder what exactly the crazy metal boy scout used, because that is very humanoid in shape.
Could it not? Doesn't it have a flag? Could the flag be the personal item, and it's just like a scout's flag, or maybe a patch?
I was honestly mistaken when I was looking at it. It could be a patch, but when I was looking at it, the screenshot that I had taken for the crazy metal boy scout, turns out there was actually something behind it. There's no flag on him, to my knowledge, at least based on this image, because it's not exactly outlined properly. I could have taken a better photo, let's be honest here, but there are some metal and scraps built into there. Like, I see robotic arms and stone legs and wooden features. Like, it looks like the body, like,
no,
like,
man, he does have a flag. Look at
you know what,
look at the head. It has a flag.
You know what, okay, I thought that was something in the background of the image, but now that I'm taking a closer look at the image, it appears that it's maybe a bunch of camping equipment.
Yeah, it's a Boy Scout. So there's it looks like a furnace for a body, stones, I'm guessing, for the fire, right? There's pans. I don't know what the arms would be used for, but maybe that bucket on its head was, like a water bucket, or
makeshift house, poop bucket.
I think the flag is the personal item, and he just got the surroundings and was like, I'm a Boy Scout.
Yeah. Like there was a campsite he invaded as a spawn, and he just engorged all the items together to make himself. And then you know something? Okay, I gotta say it because I was thinking about this for a while. How exactly and why exactly are there repetitions of many fusions and their continuation? They're not constantly adapting and evolving, obviously. Sure, for lore purposes and game purposes, that would be very hard to do and represent. But in the same token, maybe, just maybe, for these particular enemies that we see and experience, and the reason we don't get any nanos for them is because once an original is created, like this crazy Metal Boy Scout is created, the fusion the terraformers or whatever the case. What were they called again? I said terraformers. Terrafusers. The terrafusers spawn out copies of the original as a blueprint of sorts.
Well, I think that
and that's why they come in waves.
The reason that we don't get a nano from it is, one, the creation item, or if we're going with the idea that they're using the flag as a creation item, and like every spawn is using creation items to become whatever they are becoming, does not have a strong enough identity to produce like a person from it. And it's like the idea of camping.
Yes.
And that's why it became a Boy Scout instead of like becoming that person. As to where, in the case of like Blue, Fusion Blue became Blue because it took his juice box that he is like, oh, that's Blue's juice box right there. Everybody be like, that's Blue's property. So he became Blue.
That makes sense. But seriously, it's honestly fascinating that going this far into the game, we're starting to see more animalistic shaped monsters in the sense of how exactly did you come to be and how can I stay as far away from you as possible?
Brother, I feel man, if I lived in the Fusion Fall world, I'm never going to the wilds. I don't like going to the woods. Now, you telling me to go to the woods during an alien invasion? No, thank you. There's too many places for them to ambush me.
Yeah, no, that is no thank you.
Mm-mm.
That Pachyarachnid, you can go elsewhere.
I'm sorry, Ben. I give up. I will keep the suburbs safe. Don't worry. I'm not going in the woods.
It's just a giant wolf spider.
No, it's not even that. What's that snake eel looking thing? That thing. I'm definitely afraid of snakes. That would get it for me. I'd be petrified. I'm done.
Mind you, that's a little further. I think that's next level. We don't
eel
really
strider or whatever it's called.
Mongo.
No, that's like right in front of Leaky Lake.
Yeah, but we don't go to Leaky Lake during these mission lines. But yes, the eel strider, yeah, that thing is terrifying. That thing is a floating eel, essentially.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm good.
Or wait, does it have? No, it has legs.
No, it's like split at the end.
No, I was about to say, but still, absolutely terrifying.
No, thank you.
To spiral into the next question, or rather next topic, earlier I said that we were talking about the creation process of fusions, but now we're talking about the nano creation process and how we are possibly improving on recipes for creating nanos.
Are you talking about the nano enhancement fusion line mission?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, okay. I had a little theory before we get really into that. So we do the Jungle Outpost gang 1 through 5, and the Spencer Spider Monkey's working on nano enhancement stuff, and he asks us to go grab some items from Mount Blackhead, and we go and find Ed there, and we get an item from him. I don't think we're ever gonna have an Ed Nano.
Oh, his item is actually interesting, because it's a comic book, and it's what is the comic book called? It's Larry the Living Robot, and I was like, is this a comic book about Larry 3000? Because if it is, that's very interesting because like Larry's from the future. Is this like, did whoever made Larry 3000 get the idea for this comic book? Or is, since Larry is in the past now, did someone see Larry and make this comic book? Or is it not related at all?
I honestly, that's funny to say because a lot of what we see in the Fusion Fall universe, especially there's a whole comic book store with all of our heroes in, like especially in what's it called, City Hall.
Oh, you're talking about Townsville Center.
Townsville Centers. The mall literally has movies, like a movie store of Fusion Fall, like actively, like it's meta as hell. Like you go in this store and you look at all the shelves and there's different screenshots. I would assume different screenshots of different scenarios, and also like screenshots we've never seen before in high resolution. And it's fascinating to me because it makes me think like how meta is this really? Because the bus stops have Fusion Fall brands, posters, join the fight and all that, and then the DVD stores have Fusion Fall related movies, and the comic book store has comic book related. Well, I mean, some of it is from the shows, like it has screenshots from the shows, but a lot of it is Fusion Fall related. And
Matt, you just gave me an idea. So meta. He's giving me an idea because at first I was going to be like, of course there's going to be people in this world who want to capitalize on the war and make a movie of it. We got Eddie capitalize on the war and running his like suburb empire over there. And I was like, God. I can see characters like Blue running around with like a camera making a found footage type movie. But then you said like enlist in the war. What if these are like meant to be like, oh, watch this and you'll get motivated to come sign up to fight today. Look at our young men and women on the front lines fighting to save you. You can help them. Maybe it's
honestly,
like popular.
I can get behind that, like some propaganda based stuff. But honestly, it's still too meta. Like
no,
what you
it makes sense because aren't there also posters about the guns? Because I vividly remember seeing a poster in like the cul-de-sac on one of the bus stops for the null void gun pistol. And if the other one is supposed to be like enlist in the war today, it makes sense that there would also be like, and when you enlist, you get standard issue null void gun pistol.
I guess so, but I want to say in the context of the Larry the Living Robot, and honestly, the fact that you mentioned that and how it could be propaganda, it also made me think back to a little someone who doesn't like to shower.
Man, you will not shut up about
and
Carl.
Who has a lot to say about is he's very passionate about a lot of things, but it makes me think, why is he here, right? Why is Carl here?
I think Carl is the best representation of like a normal citizen in this world.
Whoa, wait. I wasn't going to say he's so normal, actually. I'm bringing him up for the very purpose of the fact that you brought up propaganda and the fact that everything is so on brand in the universe. It makes me think, who's making all of this?
You think Carl's making it?
Maybe Carl, as fanatic as he is, maybe deep down he had taken some interest in the prospect of an alien invasion on his homeworld and decided, I could monopolize on this.
No, I'm going to stop you right there.
And I can help our war efforts too.
I'm going to stop you right there because when we do Carl's missions, I don't know if you read that giant wall of text. At the end of it, he talks about people said there's an alien invasion going on, but yeah, right. They're just playing a joke on me. I wish aliens were real. He doesn't know that the world's being invaded.
Okay. I was trying to give him a golden pedestal, but you know what? Shoot him into the dirt. Why don't you? Put his head on the concrete. On the curb and just kick down. That's all you got to do. Anyway,
okay, moving on.
So what I was getting into basically is the idea that we can improve the recipe and how items can be substituted to create the same nano. It makes me think if you could use more power or get different items and create more powerful variants of nanos. And I believe it calls back into a similar discussion about how creating fusions and how in an earlier episode we talked about how Fuse was trying to capture superpowered individuals, and I believe through him capturing them and draining them of their powers. Mind you, this is a couple episodes ago we were talking about how I believe it was Blossom got stuck into a trap
during the him mission, the him nano mission.
Right, got stuck into a trap that was draining her superpowers. So Fuse has the technology to do this. It makes me think if he could take the superpowers as a personal item or as a conduit to create a new fusion of Blossom that is superpowered.
I was thinking he was taking the powers.
Supercharged fusion.
I was thinking he was taking the powers to give to Fusion Blossom.
That could also be true, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, yeah, that could be true. But my whole premise is he's using their own personal items and or anything in reality in conjunction to our heroes to capture them and possibly corrupt and or convert them into more powerful fusions. So yes, he could be using that power draining, the power siphoning to give it to Fusion Blossom.
How did we get here from DVDs?
Well, we got here from talking about the nano-specific items. Then we talked about the all the propaganda. I don't even know how we got to the propaganda and the more fascinating stuff in the DVD store and the comic book store. But I digress. That's where we were going from. We initially started off talking about the nano enhancement stuff.
Oh yeah,
and all the Larry 3000
Oh yeah,
Every
you're right.
3000.
I got it. I remember now. I remember. Yeah. They're changing up the recipe. What does that even mean? No, we don't know. Hopefully they
No
talk
idea.
about this more. Does the nano enhancement project ever go anywhere, or are they meant just to be easy missions? Talk to this person, come back.
You never know, honestly. At this
After
point,
that, we do more missions for Blue. The blue missions. First of all, before I forget about it, I gotta say, Mayor, I don't know if just having so many evil people or bad guys, I won't say evil, and Townsville has like warped his mind. But he found out about Blue at Disney World and was like, go get rid of him. I forgot what he called him. He was like, some weird creature is attacking Disney World. If we weren't there, I fully believe that Mayor would have called the Powerpuff Girls to take Blue out. Just take them off the map. Get rid of them. We don't want them around here. We don't take kindly to creatures around here.
That's funny. And he was fully ready to send the Powerpuff Girls to sick him.
He's ready to get the Powerpuff Girls to open pickle jars. Man, girls, could you get rid of that blue menace? No problem, Mayor. It's just dead.
Could you get rid of that little rodent? Sure, Mayor. And then it like cuts a single frame of like Blossom traveling at him at Mach 7 and the wall destroying behind him.
Oh God, Blue, you gotta get out of there. Okay, so we do a couple of missions for Blue. First, Blue wants to eat fried dough. I don't know what fried dough, unless that's funnel cake. I like funnel cake. Blue, I'm with you. Let's go get some funnel cake.
Wait. Before we get to that, we gotta reference the sponsor of the video. We gotta talk about Imaginary Fusions Part 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, we finally finished the Plunger of Doom mission line. You can do it, Matt. I know you want to talk about it.
All right, so okay. Basically, we go find Blue at Disney World because we need Blue's cooperation. We go to him at Disney World, and basically we get him to come back to Foster's with the plunger, which I don't know how he beat us there. Like, truthfully speaking, that man, he's fast. He don't have legs, but he's fast.
Don't you know Blue has instant transmission?
Listen, that's ridiculous. Anyway, basically, we get him back to Foster's. He's on board with the plan. We go in, and he gave Blue the plunger. He came back and broke into the house.
The plunger works, Matt. The plunger works. He used it right.
I still don't think he used it right.
How did he get in the house, Matt?
If he used the plunger right, Fusion Blue would be out of the house.
No.
But he broke into the house.
Into the house. He plunged the door unlocked.
Well, okay. One of the little text lines says that you gave Blue the plunger. He came back here ahead of you and broke into the house. Fusion goo is everywhere, and Fusion Blue is still inside. And then in Imaginary Fusion Part 5 of 5, Fusion Blue said he wanted to be adopted, which is strange and fascinating. Blue ran through the house with the plunger of doom, entered the maze, and then I guess he got captured, right? He did, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. He got captured, and then
we had to go through the pipes.
We speculated that possibly there was a part of Fusion Blue that wasn't being controlled by Fuse
because the imagination energy.
Yes. He really didn't do anything. Honestly, like as a fusion, like most unproductive fusion as of ever.
No, because this is a big thing, man. I think, because this is what radio was telling us about, that imaginary fusions, because they are imaginary fusions, are not fully under Fuse's control. They're not completely on the hive mind. Because of the imaginary energy, there's somewhat positivity. So maybe Blue was telling the truth, or Fusion Blue was telling the truth when he was like, I want to be adopted. Please get me away from Fuse.
You know, I would like to believe that, but in the same token, Fusion Eduardo was feral, to say the least. And that man's a sweetheart, all right? He's an absolute sweetheart.
You have to remember, at that point in the game, when we fought Fusion Eduardo, the world was at its most taken over. So maybe the overabundant of fusion matter surrounding Fusion Eduardo.
You're saying
corrupted him more.
The excess.
Yes.
It influenced him even more. Okay. That makes sense. Well, basically, yeah, that's it. Basically, Blue gets trapped, uses the plunger of doom, gets trapped. We go rescue him and then get rid of Fusion Blue. Essentially,
that's the time.
Well, I mean, get your final thoughts in wherever you wanted to get through.
I didn't even. Okay, so we do a couple more missions for Blue, and we find out he's been I want to say peer pressured by Ace, but Blue doesn't seem like the type of person to get peer pressure. If you tell Blue something he wants to do, he'll probably do it. And I was gonna say this whole thing of like continuing this ongoing thing of people who get tricked by fusions. I think Blue didn't care that it was a fusion, but Ace would be the one person I think I would accept someone confusing, because Ace is green. So if you saw Fusion Ace, you'd be like, yeah, that's him. Right? He's green.
Yeah.
Also, Princess wanted us to do a mission where we set her up with Ben 10. I did not want to take part into it. I wanted to refuse the mission.
Even Max was like, what am I supposed to do with this?
She gave us her headshots to give the Grandpa Max to give the Ben, and he was creeped out. And I was like, man, I'm right there with you. I wish I didn't do this.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Aside from that being creepy as hell, the final thought we wanted to talk about was the fuse contaminating the water supply. And What Are You Kidding Me? Part 1 of 4. Last thing we're going to talk about. Basically, fuse contaminated the water supply with fusion matter, and that water was used to make fried dough, and that almost made Blue sick.
Oh, well, we don't know if it did or not. Like, he didn't get to eat it. We stopped him.
Yes. Yeah. But we can assume, we can infer the reason we didn't want him to eat it is because it probably would have made him sick. As there has been a very big trend with food-related missions and Fuse's minions doing things in order to contaminate and/or corrupt the food supply. So this just further rides in that, yes, they're even getting to the water supply, which is terrifying.
It does actually support the food is Fuse is messing with the food supply theory. I can't deny that, but I don't know. I think it's a coincidence. I'm not convinced yet.
I don't know how many more missions before you're convinced, because I think that's like,
I need number one himself to tell me Fuse has messed with the food supply, and I'd be like, maybe you're right, man. I don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's it though.
On that note, this has been another episode of FusionLore. I've been Magic and he's been Matt. If you want to join the Discord community, the link is down there below. Thank you to our production team, Lucia L, Ben 10 Dog, and Radio Wave for helping us put this show together. Their links will also be in the description, and you can follow them as well.
You can follow us on social medias. You can probably see some behind the scenes content, sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, and make sure you leave a review. You know, it helps us a lot. We try to look at them, try to see your feedback, see what you guys are thinking about. Of course, you know, maybe leave any questions for future events. But if you have anything in regards to the episode we talked about, and maybe some insight, maybe some new information we weren't aware of, we'll get back to you on it. Honestly, we should probably do an episode where we look back at all the comments and, you know, directly address them.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun.
Well, until next time, don't eat any fried dough.
Yeah, no, and make sure you buy that plunger of doom. It'll be the best battle of your life.
It's a price worth dooming for. Bye, everybody.
You ready for this? My work is done.